Welcome back to all the girlies, gays, and theys out there. Today we're going to be doing a book haul. Now the last book haul I did was about 4 months ago, and after that book haul I placed myself on a book buying ban. But certain things have happened in my personal life where I just needed retail therapy, and therefore I went straight to book shopping. Now I'm gonna be hauling around 50 books. I don't know the number exactly, but I'll put it in the title or in the description of this video, or maybe even I'll have like text on the screen. And because we're hauling so many books today, I'm gonna be doing this in no particular order. I will save the special editions for the end though, and some of these books I have actually already read. I'll tell you which ones I read as we get going along, so let's get started. So this first book is one that I have already read, and this is Role Playing by Kathy Yardley. We're following two people. The girl is like in her late 40s and the guy is in his 50s, and they meet through video gaming. He thinks that she is like a woman in her 80s and she thinks that he is in his 20s. So they try to keep their budding friendship at a distance at first, but then they find out that they're actually around the same age range, and that's when they kind of like develop a romance. There's also some LGBTQ representation in this book, and I was like loving this book up until I want to say maybe like the 70% where like the miscommunication happened, and it made me so irate, but like for good reason, and I think that's what the author intended. I think I ended up giving this one 3 stars because it was just like fine. It was a good cute romance. Very minimal spiciness in this book. If you just want something really cute about a couple that's a bit older, then I would recommend this one. And then the next book I hauled is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. It has a sticker on there, so let's go ahead and try to peel that off together. I don't actually know what this book is about. I just know that this is like a sweeping fantasy series, and I also bought it for like $9 as you saw on the sticker that was on there. I heard that this is really good, but a little bit confusing for fantasy, which is like fine. And if I'm looking to pick up like a heavy, deep world building fantasy book, I might reach for this one. And the next one is Slow Dance by Rainbow Rowell, and this one also has stickers on there, so let's get that off. The stickers on this one was a lot harder to get off than the one on City of Brass. Now Slow Dance is a adult romance by Rainbow Rowell. She has been in a very long time stuck writing YA, and I'm so glad that she finally came out with another adult romance. This is not her first adult romance. I think that she wrote Landline and Attachments a long time ago, and those were adult romance, but I was very excited because this has been her first one in a while, and I have actually already read this one. I actually finished it last night, and I don't remember what the main characters' names are, but our main female character, she is divorced, she has 2 young kids, and then her romantic interest, Carrie, that's his name. He is in the Navy, and they have loved each other since high school. So we're following like a really long period of time of when they were like in high school, and then now them as adults. This story I think was like really deep and complex with like their relationship with each other, and how it's just like difficult for them to admit their feelings for each other when they were in high school. And then they had like this miscommunication when she had like just entered college and he went off to the Navy, but now they're older, they're grown up, and they're kind of like navigating adulthood, but he's still in the military. While I was reading this book, I had to pretend that he was not in the Navy because I don't like reading books about military couples, and that was really hard to do, and I actually ended up giving this 4 stars. I mean, I really liked it, but I just could not get past the military aspect of this. I'm so sorry that if you are in the military, I won't get into a discussion about the US military complex, but I enjoyed this book. I just wish we didn't have the Navy aspect in this book. Now the next book I bought is Black Sheep, and this is by 2 authors, so it's Alexa Harlow and Bryn Weaver. And Bryn Weaver wrote Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark, the Ruinous Love trilogy, and I have heard that this book is a lot like Mindfuck, and I love me Mindfuck. So I'm assuming this is about a serial killer woman who is out to get revenge, and I love a good for her. I actually want to pick this one up soon. Oh my god, this next set of books is so heavy, and that would be all 9 books in the Amulet series. I love the Amulet series. I think I found it back in like 2015, 2016, and all the books had been released. I think I stopped maybe like volume 6, but I ran into one of these volumes at my used bookstore, and it just brought flashbacks of like me loving this like almost 10 years ago, so I decided to buy the whole series. I don't know if there's gonna be more if the author of this is stopping at 9, but I'm really excited to reread these. And then this next graphic novel is Unico. I do not know what this is about at all, but I saw the cute unicorn and I was like, I must have it. I'm pretty sure that this is meant for children or maybe like middle grade, but I don't like reading middle grade novels, so I decided to pick this one up because the unicorn is so cute, and maybe I will like middle grade graphic novels more than I do full-length novels. So we shall see. And the next book I read was Twice Shy by Sarah Hoggle. And I picked this book up solely because I saw Riley Marie read it and said that she loved it. And this is kind of like a short romance. All I know about this one is that the male is an absolute simp for the female main character. And I just want to read a cute romance. And then the next book is Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. I think it's following like billionaire dads. I have not read the first one, which I think is Wild Love, and I probably should have done that before buying this one because Elsie Silver has kind of been like a hit or miss for me. And then the next two books are also Elsie Silver books, so we have Off to the Races and Photo Finish. I really like the Chestnut Spring series, and I think this is kind of like an offshoot or a spin-off of that series. And like I said before, Elsie Silver tends to be a hit or miss for me, and so I'm really hoping that these are hits. I don't know more about this one other than it's like a spin-off of the Chestnut Spring series, so more cowboys, but maybe like out in the wilderness. And these are ones that I want to pick up fairly soon. And then the next book I bought was Gallant by V.E. Schwab, and I love me some V.E. Schwab. I reread Vicious and then I read Vengeful earlier this year, and I absolutely loved those books. And then I also have Darker Shade of Magic, that series up on my bookshelf somewhere. So I'm excited to get to another V.E. Schwab book. I think the only V.E. Schwab book that has not been a hit for me was Addie LaRue, and I think that this is more so like a fantasy. I think her fantasy works really well for me and not her lit fic. And the next book I bought was Girl Forgotten by Karen Slaughter. Now I read The Good Daughter earlier this year for Summerween, and I really liked it, and I want to pick up some more of Karen Slaughter because I think that she writes thrillers or horrors in a different way that I haven't like really seen before. And I don't know what this one is about. Maybe it's about like a detective and somebody that's gone missing, but I just picked it up just because it's written by Karen Slaughter because I want to give her more chance to like wow me and impress me. And the next book I bought is Bound by the Shadow Prince by Ruby Dixon. Now, Ruby Dixon books for me, I only pick them up when I want something that has a lot of spice in it, and I know that this is monster romance fantasy type book. If I ever want to pick up a monster romance, I'm picking up a Ruby Dixon book. I don't know much about this one other than I think that the girl is like trapped and her captor is the monster in the monster romance. It's giving a little bit Beauty and the Beast for me. And the next two books are the sequels in the Skyward series. So we have book 2 and we have book 3 here. Have I read book 1? No, I haven't. But see, the thing is, I trust Brandon Sanderson with my life. I recently finished reading the Mistborn trilogy, the first 3 books in that series, and did it wreck my life? Yes, it did. And I think this is his attempt at like a YA sci-fi series. I'm excited to pick this one up because I don't typically pick up sci-fi books, but if I am gonna pick one up or if I'm in the mood, this is what I want to lean for. And then the next book I bought was Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I am absolutely obsessed with the Cruel Prince series, and I read Wicked King not that long ago and I loved it. The ending had me gagged, it had me shook to shit. So I'm very excited to get to this. This series has my heart, it has my soul, it's so thrilling and grips you from page 1, and I need to make time to pick this one up. Now the next book is Radiance by Grace Draven. I read 2 Grace Draven books previously. So the first one I read was Entreat Me, and I absolutely love that book. I gave it 4 stars. And the next one I read was Master of Crows, and I didn't like that one so much. I think I maybe gave it like 2 stars. I just didn't like the main female character in that book, but I have heard great things about Radiance. I know this is a super popular book, and if I ever want to read fantasy and romance blended together and done well, this is what I'm going to reach for. And then the next book I bought is When a Sorceress Comes Call by T. Kingfisher. I absolutely love T. Kingfisher. I am almost done with the Saint Cecile series, and I've read a ton of T. Kingfisher's book prior to that. Also, this is one of the I got half price books as well, and it took me far too long to get the stickers off of this. Whoever makes stickers to be placed on books should swap jobs with the people who make the adhesive for pads and panty liners, because sticker people will do a much better job at keeping those things in place. But anywho, I do not know what this book is about. I bought it solely because it's T. Kingfisher, and I absolutely love T. Kingfisher. I read Sweetheart, Thornhedge, and then the first 3 books in the Saint Cecile series, so I probably read maybe like 5 or maybe 6 T. Kingfisher books at this point. Oh, and then I also read Nettle and Bone, and I think that I've liked every single one of them. So T. Kingfisher is one of those rare authors that I know if I pick up one of her books that I'm gonna like it. Okay, I think we might be a little bit more than halfway through this book haul, but the next book I bought is From Lukov with Love, and I bought this book primarily because of the figure skating aspect to it. I am a huge fan of the sport, and this book is reminding me a lot of the drama that's going on between real life ice dancers Isabella Flores and Ivan not gonna pronounce his last name. So I'm excited to get this one. The only thing about this book is that it feels like it needs to be like half an inch longer this way, going this way, because it's very rectangular and I think that that's weird. I have read a Mariana Zapata book before, which is All Roads Lead Here, and I didn't really enjoy that one. I think I maybe gave it like 2 or 3 stars. I thought it was kind of boring. I'm so sorry to all the other people out there that like that book. So I'm hoping that this one I will like more. I mean, it's just as long as All Roads Lead Here, but I'm more invested in a figure skating story than I am with like a couple that has like kids. I don't know. I didn't like All Roads Here. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to all the people that love that book. And then the next book I bought is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Now this is like in the Part of Your World series. I read Part of Your World. I thought it was okay. I give it 3 stars. And then I read Just for the Summer and I like that one, gave it 4 stars. So this is, I think, the second book in that series. I read them kind of out of order, but I've heard that the main male character is adorable and that he is the reason why you should pick up this book. So just why I'm reading it. And then the next book I bought was Mayfly, and this is, I think, like a body horror or gross horror book. I'm not a huge fan of horror, so this kind of scares me, but I've never read like a body horror before, so I'm curious. I think this one has been like a hit or miss with a lot of people, so we shall see if I actually end up liking this book. And the next book I bought was My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. The first Grady Hendrix book that I read was The Southern Book Club Guide to Slaying Vampires, or somewhere around that. It's a really long title, and I actually surprisingly really enjoyed the book despite having like a kid focus in it, and so I want to try more of these books. I've heard this one kind of been like a hit or miss with a lot of people, so I'm curious to see what I will think of it. I'm so sorry, my camera battery died, but we're back. Now the next book I bought was The Patient by Jasper DeWitt, and this is a really small horror. I think this is classified as a paranormal horror, and this is a book that I have already read. If you want to read a horror that's gonna have you gooped, it's gonna have you gagged, this is the one for you. I read this a whole last year ago, but I only bought it recently because I cannot stop thinking about this book. Ever since I finished reading it, I was just like, that ending had me shocked, and it's very hard to do that for me in like any book. And the next book I bought was Comfort Me with Apples, and this is another short horror thriller. I think I might have a thing for short horror because I don't typically like horror novels, but I think I like it when they're short, because to me sometimes a horror book can overstay its welcome, and the reason why I like The Patient so much is that it just gave you enough, and I'm hoping that this one is just as good and it just gives you just enough and gives you a little bit of the spooky icky. And then the next book I bought was Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and this is the only Emily Henry book that I have not read. I've read Funny Story, Beach Read, and People We Meet on Vacation. People We Meet on Vacation might be one of those books that I have to reread because I feel like I read that in a fever dream and don't remember it at all. But I think Book Lovers might be for me because I heard that the main female character in this one is kind of like a go-getter, maybe a little bit off-putting, and I can relate to being a bitch. Now these next 3 books are literally just Jennifer Hartman books because I love her. The first one is Catch the Sun, and I have already read this one. It has really nice orange sprayed edges. I think this is Jennifer Hartman's first miss for me. Don't get me wrong, I liked it. It was just like once we got to that like miscommunication or like 70% throughout the book where they like break up or like the couple does, I could not get over how dumb it was. And then Jennifer Hartman mostly just writes dark romance, and this is like a YA dark romance, and the dark romance part of it, I was into it up until, like I said, that 60-70% mark where that dark romance kind of like swung around. I just thought it was so stupid. It was also really hard to read from like these teenagers' perspective because they just kept making decisions that were just so dumb, but you kind of forgive them for it because they are teenagers. So I don't know if YA dark romance is for me. And then the next book I bought is actually 2 copies of the same book, and that would be The Stars Are on Our Side by Jennifer Hartman, and this is like a continuation of Still Beating and Lotus, and I absolutely loved that dark romance series. I don't think it's really a series, I just think it's 3 interconnected stories, but I read The Stars Are on Our Side not that long ago and I loved it, and then I realized that there was a special edition copy of it, so I was like, yes, I must have it because I have special edition copies of Still Beating and Lotus, so it's like I need to complete the special edition copies, and that's why I bought this. This is paperback, however. I don't love that, but I still really do like the cover and I really do love this book. Now the last book that I bought that was a Jennifer Hartman book is older, and I do think that this is an age gap romance. So that kind of makes me a little bit nervous. I have not read this one yet. However, I did buy the special edition copy of it. I think it came from like Mystic Box or Savage Cats. So I'm a little nervous because I already paid for a quite expensive special edition copy without having read this one, because at this time I hadn't read Cash the Sun yet, and I was like, Jennifer Hartman cannot miss for me, but unfortunately she has had a miss, so I'm really nervous about this one. And the next book I bought was 5 Broken Blades, and this has a sticker on it, so excuse me for a little bit. I swear these stickers are gonna drive me up a wall, but 5 Broken Blades, I believe, is kind of like a heist book, and I love me some heist and I love me some thieves. One of my favorite like heist books is Mistborn, The Final Empire. Love that book. And then I reread Six of Crows recently. Like I read it when it came out originally, and then I reread it recently because that's another heist book, and it kind of fell flat for me the second time around. So I'm hoping that this heist book hits, because I just love me some like Ocean's 11 kind of like plotting thievery book, and I'm really hoping that this one hits. And the next book I bought is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. This one does have a sticker on it, and I tried to take it off and it immediately started doing that thing where, like, you know how like you peel the sticker but it leaves a little bit of like the residue behind, and I said no thanks, that will not be happening. But this is like a found family sci-fi book, and I love me some sci-fi, I love me some found family and like traveling books. I think this is like the original cover of this book, because it does have a different cover, and I'll put it on the screen. And this is another like sci-fi book that I will be reaching for if I'm in the mood for sci-fi. And the next book I bought was The Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix, another Grady Hendrix novel that I've heard good things and bad things about. And this is one of those books that I was intending to read for like a Halloween video, but around that time I was like moving and it just wasn't happening. So maybe I'll save this for summery next year, or maybe even Halloween next year. And then these next 2 books, I don't know if I regret buying them, but we shall see. And the first one is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. Now I know that this is going to be like a movie or maybe even like a limited series. I'm not sure, that's going to come out in 2025. So I bought this book intending to do like a plot summary video like I did for like the Ugly series, but this thing happened where I started reading this book and it was so confusing. Just typical of George R.R. Martin to drop a bunch of like names but like not tell you how people are related, or just kind of loosely tell you. When I was reading this book, I literally had to look up a family tree because I was just so confused. I was like, who's who, who's the king, who's the prince, who's related to who. And this is 3 novellas bound up together. So the first novella I 100% understood and got, and I was like in it, I was hooked. And then the other 2 I was like, what just happened there? I did take notes, but I don't know if I want to do like a plot summary of it because it's a little bit confusing. But let me know if you want that, and then I can do it, because I do have all the notes for that. And then the next book I bought was Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. Again, I don't know if I ever get this or not, and I bought this like right after House of the Dragon wrapped up season 2 because I went through a withdrawal, and I'm the kind of person where if there's a book out for a TV series that I'm like hooked into it, I want to read the book. Like, I want to know what happens next. But this might not be one that I pick up until the 3rd season of House of the Dragon comes out, because I just want to know. I hate surprises. I hate feeling anxiety when I'm watching a TV show. I actually do want to know spoilers when I watch a TV show or a movie. The only thing that I don't want to know spoilers for is when I'm reading a book. Now we're heading into special edition territory. So the next 4 books are special edition copies of the Bridgerton series, and these 8 books are bind-ups to make it 4 books. That was honestly just so heavy. I bought all these off of Amazon, and when I placed my order, it literally took months for these to get to me. I don't know what the problem was, but I have read the first book with Daphne and Simon, and I thought it was okay. So I'm kind of nervous to read the other 7 books, because I think I actually gave the first book maybe like 2 stars, and so that was really unfortunate. So I hope it just like gets better from there. But I do want to do a plot summary video on all of these books. Let me know if you want to see that. And I do really like the way that these are bound up. They're kind of pretty. There's one that I have that's actually really damaged. I think it might be the last book in the series, but it's fine. I don't mind minor damage on my books. And then the next book is Bull Moon Rising by Ruby Dixon. This is, of course, a monster romance. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty spicy, but I bought this book only because it is so gorgeous. I mean, Lisa Frank who? It has some beautiful sprayed edges and then really nice end pages. And then also the naked hardcover is pink. I just love a pink book. And then the next one is a special edition of Beach Read. It has this beautiful gold foil lettering. I do have a paperback copy of Beach Read that I might consider selling because I don't need to have 2 copies of the same book, especially because I have such a limited space here. But I love it. It's sprayed edges as well, and like the end pages kind of look like a sunset at the beach. And then these last 2 books were literally just depression buys. The first one is a special edition copy of Legends and Lattes, and it has really nice sprayed edges. And the end papers are also like super cool. Just like look at that, and then look at that. I love it when the end pages are different because these end pages are different. Unlike Full Moon Rising, where the end pages are the exact same, I'm just like, if you're gonna make a nice copy of a book, go all out. And then the last book is a special edition copy of Bookshops and Bone Dust, and it has sprayed edges, and these end pages are really awesome, cute artwork, and then another like beach ocean scene. And so that is it. Those are all the books that I bought in the past 4 months. Thanks to depression. I think what I'm gonna do next is I might actually do a book on haul because, like I mentioned, I have 2 copies of Beach Read, I have 2 copies of Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust, and I don't need 2 copies. So we might go through all of my shelves and unhaul some books. And then I also want to do a bookshelf organization because when I moved in here, I just got all my books and threw it on the shelves. Didn't like categorize it because usually I like to have like my fantasy all together, my romance all together, but I didn't do this that time because I was just like, get everything into the house and be done with it. So I might do a bookshelf reorganization maybe sometime soon. But that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know that was a lot of books. Let me know if you have read any of the books that I've just hauled here and if you like them. And please don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and please comment below. And I will see you guys in another video next week. Bye!